Hey Cleveland, your favorite show is on. Good Day with Olivia begins right now.
And,
Like, who's Olivia?
bruh. You're kidding, right?
Who's Olivia? You know, that girl on the radio. You know, the little short girl. She ain't no but 3 feet tall. You know, her love for the city is greater than her stature.
No, I'm just kidding,
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. She's a baby. Light up a little bit.
Right. Tell him some more.
She's my favorite host on the KAZ radio and television network.
Connecting Cleveland. It's Good Day with
Olivia.
I'm your host, Olivia Winston.
Reporting live from Cleveland.
CLE.
You're tuned into GDWO. Good Day with Olivia starts right now.
Greetings, Cleveland, and good morning. Welcome back to the Good Day with Olivia show here on the KAZ Radio and Television Network. I'm your host, Olivia Winstead here, serving up the good news happening right here in the city of Cleveland, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. As always, Cleveland, let's talk about immigration. How is immigration relevant to the city of Cleveland? Do you have questions about immigration? What are the dividing sides on immigration? Well, today we'll be answering those questions and exploring more in today's conversation, American Dream. And here to lead this morning's conversation is Elaine Tao from Asia, Asian Services in Action. Good morning, Elaine.
Hi, good morning, Olivia.
Yes. Happy you were able to make it this morning. I'm very excited for the interview. Are you?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here.
Yes. Well, before we jump right into the conversation, I have to give a news update, and then we're going to learn a little bit about you. We're going to take some time to get to know Elaine. Is that all right with you?
Yep.
All right. So Cleveland, Halloween is this Wednesday. So Cleveland has already announced the times for trick-or-treaters to go out and about. So the times are between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. October 31st. So if you're out with the kiddies, have them ready by 6 o'clock, and they can go out in the community until 8 o'clock. That is the trick-or-treating curfew this year. I think that's been the curfew every year since I was a kid, at least. And the city of Cleveland will be hosting Big City Boo. So that means all recreational centers will be hosting some kind of event in the city of Cleveland. So for more information, if you're interested in attending that event on Wednesday, check out the City of Cleveland's website at city.cleveland.oh.us. All right. So back to you. Elaine, are you a Cleveland native?
Actually, I'm not, but I've lived in Cleveland now longer than I've lived anywhere else.
Wow. So how long have you been here in the city of Cleveland?
It will be 19 years pretty soon.
19
Yeah.
years. Wow. So where are you from?
I'm originally from the Chicago area.
Okay. Born and raised there. All right. So have you spent much time in the Chicago area? What brought you here to the city of Cleveland?
Well, I came to Cleveland to continue my education.
Okay.
So,
Where'd you go to school?
well, I attended law school at the University of Akron.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting ready to go. Well, I'm applying to law school. Somebody's going to take me. But I'm very interested in law. I like that service aspect of law. So are you using your law degree right now? Are you still working on it? Or?
I am a practicing attorney.
Okay.
And more recently, I have now been selected as the interim CEO for Asian Services in Action. And so finally, I am truly using my advocacy skills to help others.
Very good. So let's talk about your Cleveland experience. What is it like here? You've been here for about 20 years. Just
Almost,
about.
yeah, almost,
Yeah. So what's your experience been like here in the city?
Well, I mean, it really was kind of a culture shock for me to move from a very large, big city where there were actually more than one Asia town centers, and to move to Cleveland, where at the time that I moved, the dedicated space for Asians or for people to have like their Asian restaurants, Asian grocery stores, those types of things. It was a very small footprint compared to where I was coming from.
Right. Wow. Okay. And can you identify that area for us? Like, where do you find a lot of Asian culture here in the city of Cleveland?
Well, in the city of Cleveland, there are, I guess, approximately a 10-block area between East 30th and approximately East 40th,
That
where
is a very small area.
yeah, that's a very small area where there are, the Asian restaurants, Asian grocery stores, Asian businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you love most about the city of Cleveland? You've been here for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, what keeps me here, to be honest, are the people.
Yes.
And the people that I've come to know over the years have been very impactful on my life, both personally and professionally. So that has kept me in Cleveland.
Yeah. So, how long have you been with Asian Services in Action?
I've been with Asian Services in Action. We go by the acronym Asia. For over 10 years as a really a volunteer and kind of working with the organization over the years.
And what's your role? Do you have a specific title?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I am very recently selected as the interim CEO for Asian Services in Action.
Okay.
Yeah, so the director.
Very, very nice. So what does that mean you have to do? Like, what are the duties of that role? What are you responsible for?
Well, I am responsible for overseeing the entire organization and reporting to the governing board.
Okay. So sounds like a very busy job.
Yes, it's been a very busy but also very fulfilling work. It's different than the attorney work that I had been doing for over a decade.
Wow, very nice. So I want to know, well, what is Asian Services in Action? What is it?
Well, Asian Services in Action is the only service organization in Northeast Ohio providing social services to the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in Northeast Ohio.
Could you tell me, can you go into the history of Asian Services in Action?
Sure. The organization was founded by 4 Asian women in 1995. These 4 women saw that there were, barriers to accessing, needs of the community, such as health care, and housing, job opportunities, all these things. And what these women started doing was they started doing health screenings at the area Asia towns. They would just set up a table and do blood pressure screenings and just kind of talk to the community members about diet and improving their health.
And this all started about 20 years ago, 21 years ago?
Yeah, 20. This will be our 22nd year.
Wow. So how much has changed in the last 20 years, like in the community, as far as how has your services, your organization's services changed the community over the past 2 decades?
I mean, it's been a tremendous, Asia's been a tremendous influence in the Asian community in Cleveland and Akron. In 2013, Asia opened the International Community Health Center, so that people could have their medical needs served in their language. We have bilingual and culturally sensitive staff that provides medical care for our community members.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean it's truly a labor of love, for the organization, that we're able to serve the community, from children to aging adults.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how many people have you served over the years? I'm sure quite a number.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I don't know the exact figures, but we serve approximately 50,000 clients per year.
And what's the mission of your organization?
Well, the mission of our organization is to make sure that our community members obtain the services that they need in a culturally and linguistically appropriate manner.
Okay. And what are some unique services that you are providing? The fact that you provide services that are culturally sensitive, and your clients or the people you serve in their native language. What are some other unique services that you provide?
Well, our newest program is our micro enterprise program, and we, that program is designed to invest in entrepreneurs. Now, the name micro enterprise, that means that it's even smaller than a small business. This is someone who is really just getting their business off the ground and needing the support that we can provide through community investment into the future entrepreneur. We have businesses like sewing businesses. There are immigrants and refugees who, because of the linguistic challenges, they don't have the same network that someone, who is, acclimated to this country.
Yeah.
They just don't have those channels to develop their business. So our organization, puts them in the right spaces and then trains them to become more comfortable in that environment and grow their business.
Very good. Very interesting. So let's go into the topic of immigration. Can you define for our audience out there, what is immigration?
Well, immigration is a very complicated, topic, and definitely on the national stage, it is a topic of significant controversy. There are people on one side that are trying to prevent people from immigrating to this country, from other countries.
Can you tell us what an immigrant is?
Well, an immigrant is someone who has made the difficult decision to uproot themselves from their country outside of the United States to move and start a new life in the United States.
Do we have a large number of immigrants living here in the city of Cleveland?
Oh, absolutely. Cleveland has been the home to so many immigrants, and a measure of the impact that immigrants have had on the Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, is really evident. I mean, you see businesses that have grown and thrived in Cleveland. Immigrants have contributed to the economy, both as consumers as well as producers, and that really has stabilized neighborhoods in Cleveland because of the economic impact.
Sure. So what's the climate here in Cleveland in regards to immigration? What are some of the attitudes that you have witnessed towards immigration in Cleveland specifically?
I mean, I think that the response to immigrants in Cleveland is mixed, like most environments. You have people that are supportive, and then you have people that are not supportive. I try to focus on the partners in the community that are supportive of immigration, and the people that recognize the value in immigrants that come to this country. They're hardworking, they pay their taxes, they contribute to the improvement of the city.
Sure. So, my next question is, attitudes are mixed. So, what are some of the concerns people have about immigration?
Well, I mean, some of the concerns that the people that are opposed to immigration have are, they make allegations that immigrants come to this country and that they are criminals, or that they cause trouble, or something, or that they are a drain on the resources. But the reality is that immigrants, lift up the economy because they're contributing, they are working, they are diligent, they are reliable, because they know that, they know and or they feel like, because they're immigrants, they need to work that much harder to set themselves apart as star citizens.
Sure. So, people who are opposed and who express the concerns that you laid out there, that they think that immigrants come and drain American society or resources here. Do you think they formed these opinions due to a lack of education or history of people who've immigrated in the past, or just a lack of knowledge and unawareness? So,
I mean, I think that the people that oppose immigration, they take isolated incidents out of context and then amplify it to send some sort of inappropriate message about what is actually happening. Because I guess people are people. There are good people and bad people in any
groups.
in any groups. And I think that what the people that are opposed to immigration are doing is they are taking isolated examples and then saying that is the norm when it isn't.
So, to the audience members out there who are up and listening right now, if you want to call in this morning, if you have any comments or any questions, feel free to call in at 216-298-1554. We're here by the line, so we're gonna resume this conversation. What are some of the controversial issues in regards to immigration today throughout America? I can name a few, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you go ahead and touch that. What's been going on in the media? What are the controversial issues right now?
Well, one of the critical issues that is putting our organization on alert is the proposed rule change on the topic of public charge.
What does that mean?
So public charge is is people who are accessing governmental benefits.
Okay.
So one of the issues, and this is something that the current administration I think is pushing, which is to penalize immigrants who access public benefits.
Penalize them how?
Penalize them when the time comes for their admission or potential admission, because they are applying for citizenship. When you're an immigrant, you come to this country and you fulfill various requirements, and then when certain time requirements have been met, you seek citizenship. And in the process of seeking citizenship, there are other hurdles that you have to go over. You have to show that you have to quiet the naysayers that might suggest that you are that you would be a drain on society, et cetera, et cetera. So the public charge issue is one where if someone is using public benefits or is or may in the future use public benefits, that they will penalize those individuals at the time that they apply for ultimate citizenship.
So they would charge, sounds like they'll charge them in addition to what maybe they're already paying to become a citizen, right?
Yeah, I
so
mean,
financially they'll be penalized?
I mean, well, it's more significant than a financial penalty. It's not allowing them to gain their citizenship.
Oh, wow.
Because they have this they have access public benefits. So and that rule, the rule is currently only in the proposed phase. It is not yet a rule, but we are asking the public to submit comments that they oppose any rule that would penalize someone for accessing public benefits or accessing governmental assistance of any sort, because there are times when people may fall on hard times. I think that's kind of unfairly penalizing immigrants when people who just have by good luck or happenstance happen to have been born in the United States and are automatically citizens, that they're treated differently than immigrants who, just like anyone else, might have fallen on hard times and need some assistance, whether that's temporary or, more long-term.
Immigration has been going on in America since the start of this country, right? So people came here in search of new opportunity and to part ways from freedom-imposing lands. What brings immigrants today? Are the reasons still the same today?
Yeah, I mean, that idea of the American dream, I mean, it hasn't changed in all these years. People come here looking for a better life for themselves and their family. They're trying to escape an oppressive government, depending on the circumstances, and they may want to reunite with family members who had already come to this country.
Right. So what is the American dream? Can you define it for us? I'm sure it's different from person to person, but what is the American dream to you, and what does it mean for immigrants?
I mean, what the American dream is for me, I think, is a very individual dream, but I think that for immigrants in general, their dream is to, have the economic means to support their families, to have the freedom to worship as they choose. It is the freedom to speak out if they have an opinion, and have that the dialogue, that you're able to have an opinion, even if it's different than another's. So, I mean, all those things are part of what makes America America.
Once here in the country, before citizenship, what is the immigration experience like, or even just trying to get over here? Can you talk about that? Have you heard anyone's story, or I'm sure you've witnessed stories? What is that like for them?
Yeah, I mean, people who come to this country, oftentimes they come with nothing more than, a few dollars and whatever they could carry. And I don't know that I would survive if I had to uproot myself and then move to another country in order to establish a new life. So I know that there's all sorts of challenges, and for immigrants who come to this country that do not speak the language, that I just can't imagine how difficult that must be to adjust to not only a new environment, but have to learn language and adjust to culture that is different.
Yeah. So what is it that our viewers out there should know about immigrations and the people who are immigrating?
I mean, what people should understand about immigrants is that they are not so different from anyone else in the sense that they that they love their families, they want to provide for their families, they want to work, they have goals, they have dreams, just like anyone else.
What personal experiences have led you to Asian Services in Action? Why is your mission their mission? Oh, why is their mission your mission?
Well, I'll tell you that I was raised in an Asian family, and in the typical Asian family, the grandparents watch the children while the parents go to work, and for me that was the case. And I always think of what are my grandma's needs? What services would have helped my grandma have a better existence in this country as she was an immigrant. And the answers to those questions are all of the services that Asian Services in Action provides. My grandma was, after I grew up, she didn't really have as a specific a purpose, so she was kind of in like an isolated older person. Excuse me. So one of the services that Asian Services in Action provides for the aging population is to have a weekly meal where the aging population can come and meet with other aging seniors, and they get to sit together, have a meal, and have socialization that they might otherwise not have, if they don't have transportation or really just a purpose in their daily life, because aging adults typically don't work. They are at home, and if they don't have some other purpose to go out and do something, it can be very lonely. Yeah. So and that is an important program that Asian Services provides, is to bring together groups of aging seniors so that they can have socialization and not be so isolated. I also wanted to just kind of list the programs that Asian Services provides. As I said, Asians are no different than any other people. They have needs from childhood to their aging years, and Asian Services provides services for all stages of life. From children and youth and family services to aging adults. As expected, we have the interpretation and translation services, but it might surprise you that we also provide domestic violence, sexual assault support, and legal services for survivors. And if I hadn't already mentioned, the International Community Health Center is a great resource for our community to receive their health care in their native language.
Is there any support that you're receiving from the Cleveland community outside of your organization?
Yes. We have partnerships with numerous organizations in Cleveland supporting the work that we do.
Very good. Well, go ahead. Is there any way the people can reach you? Go ahead and give out the contact information for you or your agency.
Oh, absolutely. All of this information is available on our website. That is www.asiaohio.org. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, Cleveland. Thank you for tuning in to Good Day with Olivia. You've been listening to today's conversation, American Dream, topics on immigration. Conversation led by Elaine Tao from Asia, Asian Services in Action. Until next week, Cleveland, I'm signing off.